If you've ever wondered what really goes on behind the glittering lights of K-drama fame, you're in for a ride. This story isn't about just red carpets, scripted chemistry, or rehearsed interviews. This is about what happened when two of Korea's most admired stars, Cha Eun-woo and Moon Ga-young, found themselves sneaking into a hidden cafe in Seoul for late-night meetings that fans almost uncovered. The truth is stranger, riskier, and far more dramatic than anything written into a script, and by the time you finish this, you'll never look at their on-screen chemistry the same way again. It began with a rumor, tiny whispers in the fan community that Eun-woo had been spotted in a neighborhood he had no business being in at midnight. Then came a blurry photo of Moon Ga-young slipping into what looked like a tiny cafe tucked away on a quiet corner street. At first, people thought it was coincidence. But coincidences don't happen 3, 4, 5 times in a row. Something was going on. And when fans started connecting the dots, the whole story of their secret late-night meetings nearly exploded into the open. The cafe itself wasn't just any cafe. It was an unmarked, nearly invisible spot hidden between a bookstore and a tiny flower shop. No signs, no flashy lights. Only those who knew about it could find it. And guess what? Cha Eun-woo and Moon Ga-young knew. It was the perfect place for two stars to slip away from the flashing cameras, the screaming crowds, and the constant scrutiny of the entertainment industry. But here's the catch. Perfection doesn't stay perfect forever. The first time they were seen there, it was already well past midnight. Eun-woo had arrived first, wearing a black hoodie pulled low, his face hidden behind a mask. He moved quickly, scanning the street like someone who knew the cost of being discovered. Minutes later, Ga-young appeared, her hair tucked under a cap, oversized coat swallowing her frame. Their timing was impeccable. No words exchanged on the street, no dramatic hugs, nothing to spark suspicion. Just two shadows slipping into the cafe like ghosts. But to the unlucky fan walking home late that night, the scene was unforgettable. That fan's shaky photo, blurry, grainy, but enough, became the first breadcrumb in a trail that fans would follow for months. So what did they do inside the cafe? This wasn't about sipping coffee and staring at the menu. This was about whispered conversations over steaming cups, about scripts laid out between them, about ideas and secrets too dangerous to share anywhere else. Some insiders claimed they were talking about projects, others swore they were discussing something far more personal, things that could change the way the public saw them forever. And yet, every time they sat in that dim-lit corner booth, they looked less like co-stars and more like two people bound by something deeper, something unspoken. The danger, of course, was not just in meeting, it was in almost being discovered. One night, fans had actually followed Eun-woo from his gym. He had no idea they were trailing him. He walked fast, head down, and when he slipped into the cafe, they stayed outside, waiting. Minutes later, Ga-young arrived, and that was when the fans almost screamed. The urge to snap photos, to post everything online, was overwhelming. But something stopped them. Maybe it was the look on Eun-woo's face when he opened the cafe door for her. Calm, protective, almost too natural. Maybe it was the realization that they were seeing something not meant for the world. Still, the story spread like wildfire in private fan chats. They are meeting. At a cafe. At night. One of the most mind-blowing scenes came weeks later, when a group of fans, determined to uncover the truth, decided to stake out the cafe. They hid in the shadows, waiting, cameras ready. Around 1 a.m., Eun-woo appeared again. This time, his disguise was even stronger. Beanie, mask, jacket zipped to his chin. He entered. Minutes later, Ga-young arrived. They thought they were safe. But just as the fans raised their phones, something unexpected happened. The cafe lights flickered, and suddenly a staff member stepped outside, blocking the view. Coincidence? Or did the cafe know exactly who they were protecting? No photos came out that night, but the memory of almost catching them face-to-face drove fans insane. Now here's where it gets even wilder. An anonymous cafe worker later claimed that what Eun-woo and Ga-young shared wasn't just casual talk. According to this source, their conversations were filled with laughter, hushed tones, even moments of silence where they simply looked at each other. One night, Ga Young had pulled out her phone, showing Eunwoo a video, and his laugh, low, genuine, completely unguarded, echoed through the quiet cafe. For the staff, it was like watching something unfold that wasn't meant to be seen, a secret chapter of a story no drama script could write. But the secrecy couldn't last. The entertainment industry thrives on whispers, and managers began to notice the strange late-night disappearances. There were warnings, there were risks. If the press gets this, everything changes. Still, they went back, again and again, choosing risk over silence. And every return to that cafe made the possibility of exposure more dangerous. The climax came one stormy night. Rain hammered the streets, thunder rolled through the city, and yet Eunwoo and Ga Young both arrived at the cafe. Inside, the mood was different, serious, heavy. Witnesses later swore that they seemed to be arguing, hands gesturing sharply, voices low but intense. What was it about? Was it the fear of being caught? Or something more personal, something breaking through the walls they had built? The tension was electric. And then, just as quickly, it melted. Eunwoo leaned across the table. Ga Young's shoulders relaxed, and the storm outside seemed to fade. Whatever had been said, whatever fire had burned between them, it ended in quiet understanding. Fans never got the full story. The cafe remains hidden, its role in their secret untold except in fragments, rumors, and half-whispered truths. But one thing is undeniable. Those late-night meetings were real. They were risky, and they were almost discovered. Why should you care? Because this isn't just about two stars in a cafe. This is about the lengths people will go to protect something fragile in a world that wants to tear it apart. It's about stolen hours, about choosing authenticity over fear, about a bond so strong it risked everything. And whether you believe they were planning projects, sharing secrets, or nurturing something deeper, the image of Eunwoo and Ga Young slipping into that cafe at midnight is one fans will never forget. And here's the kicker. Even now, no one knows if the cafe is still their meeting place. Some swear it closed. Others whisper it's still open, still waiting for its midnight visitors. But the truth? The truth is hidden in the shadows, just like the two stars who once chose to meet there when the world wasn't looking. So next time you see a blurry photo, a midnight rumor, or a fan whisper about Cha Eunwoo and Moon Ga Young, remember the cafe. Remember the risk. And remember that some of the most unforgettable stories don't happen on screen. They happen in the shadows, in secret, where only the brave dare to go. The whispers about the cafe didn't die down. They grew louder. What made this story so explosive was not just that Eunwoo and Ga Young were meeting in secret, but how close fans came to exposing them. Each late-night visit added another layer of danger, another possibility of discovery. The city of Seoul is alive even past midnight, and no matter how carefully they disguised themselves, there was always someone watching. One night stands out more than any other. The cafe was nearly empty, just a couple of university students buried in their laptops, and an old man sipping tea by the window. Eunwoo slipped in, his tall figure hard to hide even under layers of clothing. Moments later, Ga Young walked in, her hood pulled tight against the chilly night. The staff, already used to their silent arrivals, simply nodded and guided them to the same corner booth they always chose. To anyone else, they looked like two ordinary friends, but to the few who had seen them before, there was something different, an invisible current that buzzed between them. The conversations that night were anything but ordinary. They leaned in close, their voices hushed, eyes locked in intensity. Fans outside, who had finally tracked them again, managed to capture a moment through the foggy window. Eunwoo's hand brushing against hers, Ga Young smiling faintly, almost shyly. The photo was never leaked, but those who saw it swore it told more than words ever could. It was proof that their bond wasn't just professional. It was personal, raw, and untouchable. But the risks were multiplying. Dispatch reporters had already sniffed around the area after whispers spread in online communities. The cafe owner had to cover for them, insisting no celebrities ever came by. But the tension was rising. One slip, one fan too bold with a camera, and the entire facade would collapse. Yet, despite the danger, Eun-woo and Ga-young kept coming back. The cafe became more than a hiding place. It was their sanctuary, a world where time slowed down, where they could be themselves without the crushing expectations of fame. One stormy evening, a fan actually confronted them. They had waited outside in the rain for hours, determined to catch them red-handed. As Eun-woo opened the cafe door for Ga-young, the fan stepped forward, phone raised, trembling with excitement. For a moment, the world froze. The flash could have gone off. The headlines could have exploded the next morning. But instead, something unexpected happened. Ga-young turned, looked the fan straight in the eyes, and smiled. Not a celebrity smile, but something softer, almost pleading. The fan lowered their phone, stunned into silence. By the next day, they posted online not with evidence, but with words, "I saw them. And trust me, some things are too beautiful to ruin." That post went viral. Fans debated endlessly. What did the writer see? Were Eun-woo and Ga-young really together? Or was it all just a fan's imagination? The truth remained hidden, locked away within those midnight walls of the cafe. And that's what makes this story so unforgettable. It's not about confirmation or denial. It's about the mystery, the stolen moments, the idea that even in a world of flashing cameras and endless scrutiny, two stars found a way to carve out a secret space for themselves. And maybe, just maybe, they're still meeting there, right now, while the rest of the world is asleep.